Eli Lilly's experimental rheumatoid arthritis drug was expected to reach blockbuster status, but the Food and Drug Administration rejected its application, saying it needed more clinical data. That sent shares of Eli Lilly lower by more than 4%, and Eli Lilly's partner on the drug, Incyte, was off 10%. Meg Tirrell takes a look at the setback and what Eli Lilly may do next.
Wall Street expected an approval for Eli Lilly and partner Incyte. Their rheumatoid arthritis drug, called baricitinib, has already been approved in Europe. And analysts pointed to favorable data from clinical trials on both the drug's safety and how well it works.
The clinical data for this drug has been very strong. Very good efficacy, very good side effect profile.
The FDA said Friday it wants to see more data on both dosing and safety of the drug. Both companies' shares took a hit as a result, as analysts speculated the drug may not be approved for a year or two. It would enter a big market. Rheumatoid arthritis affects more than 1 million Americans. It's an autoimmune condition causing pain and stiffness in the wrists, hands, and feet. But it's also a crowded and pricey class of drugs, with many blockbusters already on the market, from AbbVie's $16 billion a year Humira to Johnson & Johnson's $7 billion Remicade.
The prices that have been charged for these drugs, particularly the biologics, have been off the charts. So between the large number of patients and the large price, you get a very large market.
So how would Lilly and Incyte's drug have a chance? Well, for one thing, it's a pill taken once a day versus injections for many of the other drugs on the market. The only other pill approved for the condition is Pfizer's Xeljanz, which drew just shy of $1 billion in 2016 revenue. For Lilly, the setback follows a decline in its shares late last year after a major Alzheimer's drug failed in a late-stage clinical trial. Lilly's stock was downgraded by both BMO Capital Markets and Morgan Stanley today. But Morningstar's Damian Conover sees bright spots in the Indianapolis drug maker's portfolio.
While this is a setback, one thing we keep in mind is they've got a lot of other drugs that were recently approved that look like they're doing extremely well, and we have projections for very strong growth for these products.
He pointed to a recently approved psoriasis drug called Taltz as one example. Incyte, the smaller of the two partners, took a harder hit today. Analysts said the rejection puts more pressure on its experimental immunotherapy for cancer. Both Lilly and Incyte will have closely watched updates on their cancer drugs at the ASCO Research Conference in early June. As for their rheumatoid arthritis drug, most on the street expect it to be approved. The question is, how long will it take to prove to the FDA it's both safe and effective enough to enter the market? For Nightly Business Report, I'm Meg Tirrell.